Airial, if I could marry her brain, it would be amazing.
If you need anything technical.
She is down to earth. She's fun. She's very easy to network with.
Anything systems oriented.
Just anything web dev techie that I don't understand, Airial has swooped in and fixed. And she's my accountability bulldog.
She is a queen.
Anything infrastructure related.
She is helpful, and she helps guide and answer all your questions that you have about growing your business and networking and getting started.
She gives me life. I mean, she just gives me life.
Airial Reynal is your girl. Welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast with your host, Airial Reynal.
I just want to marry her brain. She's a genius.
Airial, you are lazy. How's that for an intro? How's that for an intro?
Really?
Yes. How's that? That?
Usually you're like the glorious, the wonderful.
Okay.
And
fine.
now you're like, Airial, you're lazy. How am I lazy, Scott?
Fine. Okay. Welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast. I'm your humble servant, Scott Duce, and I am here with the lazy, the complicated, the in love with her couch, Airial Reynal. Is that better?
Are we really recording this?
Yeah, absolutely. And the only reason I feel confident calling you out for it, and please understand this coming from 100% place of mutual respect, is because I am lazier.
So we actually got ready to sit down on the mic, and see what had happened was I'm like, man, why is it that every freaking time it's time to record, I struggle to wake up and get my ass on the mic?
Every time.
And Scott was like, yeah, every time. And Scott was like, do you want the real answer or the sugar-coated answer? And I was like, the real answer. And he was like, laziness.
You're a Taurus and we are a lazy people.
I'm like, oh, usually people saying that I'm lazy is a trigger, but right now I'm just like, oh, that is my problem.
Yeah, 100% true. 100% true. And like, we are the types of people where, like, make no qualms about this. We are batch recording. It's February. We are done until June. We could take a week off. And so every single week, we want to take a week off.
Every single week.
Every week. I wake up and I'm like, oh, we don't have to record today. Like, that's not a thing we need to do. We could take a week off. But then there's another part of me that goes, dude, don't you want to be ahead till July?
Oh, see, you never told me that. So you just make me feel bad for no reason when you're feeling the same way.
Absolutely. That's the power of getting things done.
So how do you push through that?
To be honest, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I will procrastinate the absolute hell out of something. For instance, my email list, getting that started was a 6-month procrastination. 100%. It took me 6 months to get that email list started. Even to the point where I was like procrastinating sending you the password to my, my Aweber and all that. And
then when you did, I was like, I've been waiting on you to send me the info.
Meanwhile, you had it for like 2 weeks. Yeah. So like sometimes I will procrastinate something to no end. And when that happens, typically I get into this really negative loop of beating myself up. Like, you got to do that. Why haven't you done that yet? Et cetera, right? So part of the reason I get ahead of things is so I don't have to hear myself nag myself.
So how do you define lazy? Let's take a look at what is laziness.
Lazy is a state of mind, I think, where like you don't want to do something. And it could be anything. It could be getting up to do the dishes. It could be getting up to get a remote from across the room. It could be whatever. Now, and the reason I know that is because I will be doing something and my lazy ass still doesn't want to be doing it. And that's why I don't think laziness is a state of being so much as a state of mind, because my body could be up being busy. I could be knocking out a dozen emails back to back like I did the other day, but my ass still wants to be in bed. Like 100%. I'm sitting there mainlining caffeine going, man, my pillow is probably so comfy and those blankets are still warm. I could get back in there.
And what about being busy but not getting anything done?
Yeah, that's the other part of it.
You're avoiding doing something that would actually be called work.
Yeah. I spend a lot of effort trying not to spend effort. Like, I will find 100 things to do that is not the thing I most need to do right now, because I don't
Right.
want to do that thing. Like, for instance, accounts. When I have to settle my accounts for tax season, full well that's my busiest sales time all of a sudden. Because who wants to do accounts? And then if it's a sales time, like early in the year, if it's sales, suddenly I'll get busy with admin and like web dev and big product and projects and things. So, and then I'll wonder where my money has gone.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm avoiding selling by doing
And
other things.
And for me, if I can't quickly do it on my phone, if I have to open up my computer, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to get done.
Like, that is supremely lazy. And I'm the same way. Do you know how much like mental effort it takes? Like, it's almost like when you start a car and that first, when you first start the car, you turn the engine, it takes more gas than anything else. That is my mind when it comes to literally lifting the top of my MacBook. I'm like, no, that I have to actually like fold it, like unfold it. What? No. What about this little brick in my hand? Can I do it here? Like, I don't have to unfold anything for this.
Oh, and then I get so frustrated. Like if it's like an app that's desktop only, or it's not mobile responsive. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by you're lazy, I'm lazy. I think I want to say that most people in their natural state are lazy. At the base of it all, the natural man or woman, we don't want to do much. We kind of do want something for nothing. And we live in a world where that doesn't happen. And so
just a second, I looked it up. Of course, I Googled it. And the quality of being unwilling to work or use energy, idleness.
Yeah, that is my natural state. I want to be idle all the time. I can't be. So I kick my own ass into gear. And even though I'm not being lazy at the topic at hand, I am an innately lazy person. That's why entrepreneurship, it wasn't enough for me to be self-employed. I had to hire a team because I'm trying to make as much money for as little effort as possible.
So that's why I'm so good at automation and systems then.
You got it. You're amazing.
I'm like, we got to find an easier way to do that so we don't have to do all the work all the time.
Yeah, you are amazing at tactical operations because you want to find the fastest path to the thing you're about to do.
So that's like when you need to change the channel, instead of bending over like 2 to 3 feet just to change the channel, you will look all over the house for the remote so you can change the channel. I don't get it. So,
or you'll take 45 minutes to download an app to your phone that lets you change your channel.
Oh my God, I was just about to say that.
Like,
I'm not the only one.
People go to extreme lengths not to have to do simple things.
Oh my God, that is
so yeah,
that's the new day and age. It's like, let me just download this app.
Yeah, I'm gonna download this app so I can change the channel from the toilet, because that is where we're at right now. Why do you think convenience sells so much?
Oh my gosh.
It's because people don't want to put in the work for the thing. And so that's why done for you stuff sells so well. That's why knowledge and information sell so well, like organized information, because people don't want to have to go do it. Yeah, they don't want to have to go find everything, or they don't want to have to. Convenience stores. I have a convenience store down the street from me, and everything is overpriced in it. Everything. And the clerk is not very friendly. And I will still go pay overpriced things to get treated like crap because I don't want to go the extra couple of minutes to the next store where people are really nice to me. And that is my point. Like, we're lazy. Everyone tuning into this right now is lazy. And if you think you're not in some way, shape, or form, A, congratulations. B, I will fight you.
I'm like really reading stuff about it. I'm going to have to look more into that.
Where'd you go, Airial? I lost my co-host to a worm.
Oh, I'm here.
She fell down the rabbit hole, guys.
Squirrel. Now I'm like reading about laziness.
Yeah.
And this thing on Wikipedia says laziness is a habit rather than a mental health issue. Okay, I get that because we talk about mental health and stuff. So it's not to be confused with depression, ADHD, or sleep disorders or schizophrenia.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. But I personally disagree, and I do think it is a mental block, just because,
A
like I said,
block.
yeah, but
Mental
I don't think
blocks and
it's a
mental
disorder.
illnesses are different, yeah. And then procrastination. So how does procrastination fall in there? And right here, what I'm reading, it says procrastination is the delaying of fulfilling tasks.
Yes, because my lazy ass doesn't want to do it, I'm going to put it off to tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow until I can literally no longer put it off at all. The ultimately lazy people, like the most lazy among us, will literally not do the thing and then come up with excuses. So, like, let's say I have a deadline to hit.
Mm-hmm.
If the amount of pressure for that deadline, like if the consequence of that deadline is not something that could be like, let's say, legal action or losing a client or, you know, whatever, like if I don't put a supreme weight on that deadline, the
Mm-hmm.
laziness in me will, okay, the laziness in some people, I don't fall into this camp, but the laziness of some people will allow them to miss the deadline and then apologize, make excuses, be in this constant state of catch up, and that damages relationships, right?
Yes, so that's when it turns bad. So you can allow it to fuel you. So we find ways to make things more convenient, but then if it goes to the point where you're making excuses and you're missing deadlines or you just don't do the work at all and you mess up relationships, that's not good.
No. And
Everything
like,
is balance.
it is, and that's my point, is like laziness is such a double-edged sword, like almost everything we talk about, right? Laziness has allowed me to employ people. And they are the most hardworking people on earth, but they themselves too are at a point where they're like, how do I do less for more? You know, so they're going to employ people someday, which is great. Everyone gets jobs because yay, laziness. It has allowed me to find the fastest way to high quality stuff for my clients. It has given me a
Sure.
job because my clients don't want to do this shit.
That's true. And I'm the same way.
Laziness is amazing for the
Because even
market.
like with the Zoom link for us to record, I'm like, man, look, why do you have to go and do a different link every week? Just make it a permanent link so we don't have to go look for it or copy and paste it again. We could just, it saves in the computer and I could just click it. You're
Jesse
doing too much.
used to set up the same, like he used to open a blank Adobe Audition file every single time he went to do a new show. And then I was like, dude, create a template with the intros and outros there, the volumes you want, do that, save it. Boom. You just have to open that, drop in the recording, and you're done. And he was just like, and when you give someone the key to being more lazy, the appreciation they show you. Like, I'm sorry, it has a positive, but the negative is that you can literally be lazy to a point of sin. Like anything on earth, you can take it to a point of being absolutely horrible and let it completely derail and destroy your life. And you have nothing to blame for it except your laziness. And I think it's important to call yourself out sometimes.
So what is the opposite of being lazy?
My opinion, the opposite of being lazy is being motivated.
Okay, I feel like I'm motivated. I feel like I'm ambitious, but my laziness does kick in. And I know that if I wasn't as lazy, it was if I would get up and do stuff more and productive stuff, that I'd be sitting on a gold mine. I mean, I am sitting on a gold mine. I'd be able to spend the money in the gold mine. So yeah, how do I fix it? Fix it, Scott.
Fix it, Scott. So I think that, like, I've been pulled into schools to do speeches for lazy kids who don't care, kids who are like, they don't want to try. They're out smoking pot all day long. Like, they were like, hey, you relate, come talk to these kids, guy who has drive and a work ethic and is exactly like them somehow. So I got pulled in to talk to these kids about like attitude, work ethic, all of that. And the truth, the way I have come to understand is that laziness is on one side of a scale, a spectrum. Motivated is on the other. And we, at any given second, are dancing between those two things. Like,
okay.
right? Let's say you want to sit down to a drink tonight. How crazy is your response to that first thing in the morning? I want to have a drink tonight. I got to go to the store. Got to go buy
Mm-mm.
booze, right?
No, because then that requires me getting out of the house.
Exactly. You're relaxed, you're chill. But let's say all day long you've been thinking about it and you're like, yeah, no, that bottle of scotch, I'm going to get. What do you drink, Ariel?
Why are we talking about what I drink?
Are you a wine? Are you a wino? Okay,
Wine,
Corona.
wine, Long Island iced tea.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now we're talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to make Long Island iced teas tonight, or I want to sit down to a really expensive scotch because those are my favorite. Can't buy them very often. Just going to be honest with you.
Right.
But I love them. So all day I'm thinking about it. All day you're thinking about it. And all of a sudden you realize that it's 10 minutes till the store closes. How
Shit,
motivated
now
are
I'm
you
gonna
now?
want one. Look, now I'm going to want one.
Your coat is on. Your boots are
Yes.
on. You are booting it to the car. You are driving faster to the store than you probably should. You get
Or
there.
I'll walk because I'm like, it's quicker to walk because I have to
yeah.
crank up the car. That takes too much. Let me
You were
hurry
like
up.
running down the sidewalk to the store because you've only got 10 minutes to go get, everything you need for your Long Island iced tea. And that's kind of what happens with us, like with our goals. Again, if there's no weight on a deadline, I can actually let the deadline slip. But if all of a sudden I could get sued if I don't meet that deadline, or I could lose like a couple $1,000s if I don't meet that deadline, or like someone who trusts me as a professional will no longer trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And me as a person, like my character, that means a lot to me. Like honesty and
Yes.
loyalty are like my two favorite things on earth. So if I'm going to be dishonest or be disloyal to a person or cause them to be disloyal to me because I damaged us beyond repair, that holds a lot of weight for me. So that is like the 10 minutes to the liquor store closing. Do you catch what I mean? Like if I'm going to lose your trust, I am going to like 3 a.m. the night before, 10 minutes before deadline, you're going to fucking get it, but you are going to get it.
Yeah.
Before, like I've been there.
And I think that's how we balance each other out too, is because we'll hold each other accountable. So we're kind of relaxed, but then it's like, okay, Scott, I need this. So we can go ahead and put this into motion. And then you do the same with me. You're like, okay, Ariel, I'm going to advertise this. So you need to get your shit together.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah,
accountability.
Let's think way back to when The Color of Business aired. And I was like, okay, this episode is going to be controversial. It's going to get some people in who I'm not familiar with, people who are not familiar with me. It's going to get people who Ariel's not familiar with, people who are not familiar with her. This is going to be a big episode. It's the Merging of Worlds episode. So let's get our product ready to sell right now.
Yeah.
So I threw this.
I'm like, I wasn't ready.
So I told everyone in the first 30 seconds, hey, go buy our stuff. You've heard the CTAs by now. But that was the first one we did, and Ariel was not ready for it. And I am a dick.
Like, dang, I got to get up and do some work now.
But yeah, it motivated her.
Make sure everything is linked together and all the links work and everything. Okay.
Yeah, because Ariel let it slip early in our relationship that if she has to do work for herself, she'll put it off. But if she has to, let's say I ask her to do something, it motivates her to get up and do it because she likes getting stuff done for other people. So hence the TrepTECH Podcast was born. And now Ariel.
I sat on for like a year.
Yeah. So I was like, let's do it together then. So now Ariel gets to do stuff for someone else, a cause bigger than herself if she needs that. Right? Like,
that's how you tricked me. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That makes sense. And, and it works.
I know.
Damn.
And also when I'm not feeling a certain way, like I wasn't ready to write the 7-day email challenge that I wrote. I knew I had to do it and I kept talking about it, but I didn't want to. And then you were like, hey, I'm putting all of this in the academy. And I was like, okay, it's getting done today then. And it was done by the end of the day. You know, I found the means to get it done because all of a sudden I was motivated to do it. And so, you know, sometimes that motivation could be the reward you set for yourself. Sometimes the motivation could be that you don't want to fuck something up that you've taken a long time to build, your reputation. You know, sometimes the motivation could be having a great sex life. Sometimes the motivation could be having a good social life. Like whatever you put weight on is going to motivate you. So use your darkness, use your little lazinesses and your own eccentricities to figure out what you can dangle at the end of, whatever it is you're doing to motivate you to do it. If it's putting an accountability partner in place because you work better for other people, do it. If it's understanding that you love food, so when you make the next XYZ dollars, you're treating your entire family to this amazing meal at an upscale restaurant that you don't belong in, do it. Like, find ways to reward. You can tell which one's mine, right?
Uh-huh.
Find ways to reward yourself based on your own personality stuff. You could trick yourself into doing it, or you could really like create this air of importance, but it's got to be real, because your body and your mind can tell when you're trying to mess it up.
And it's easy to think, well, money's motivating, but sometimes it's not motivating enough, because you're like, oh, I really don't need it, because especially if you have a fallback, I can wait.
Yeah.
But when it's that, for me, like you said, and it's about our values too. For me, if I'm about to disappoint someone, no, I can't have that.
Yeah.
I cannot have that.
I love that you brought that up. That's a really good point, because I don't know if you fall into this loop, Airial. I'm going to assume you do. I do. I'll have an amazing sales month, and then I'll take my foot off the gas because there's money in the bank, and I'll only light that stove again. Like, I'll only reignite the engine when the money is starting to run out again, and I get to that level of stress where I'm like, I can't have this, and I run out and fix the problem again.
And we end up creating more work for ourselves and having to exert more energy because we waited to the last minute. What the hell?
So money is only a motivator if you don't have it or don't have enough of it for what you want. But the second you do, you need to find a better motivator. And so, so for me, laziness has become my motivator. I want to buy the freedom to be lazy. So I am using laziness as my ultimate motivator.
That is it. That is what I do. Because when I sit on the couch, I'm like, I'm just going to be fucking lazy today, and nobody better not say a damn thing to me. And this feels good. That is what it is. I want to create stuff and automations or whatever, make my life easier so I can just be lazy and be okay with it. And my business is still going. I'm still making money.
It doesn't mean you're not helping people. It doesn't mean you're still not putting your time in. It doesn't mean you didn't earn the right to be a little lazy sometimes, because my God, you work harder now than you did in the military.
Yeah. I mean, I served in the military, so I have my little soapbox about that.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is like, you just recording, like batch recording this, for instance, we're doing this every single Thursday. We record 4 hours, like 4 hours straight every Thursday. We are months upon months upon months ahead right now. Why are we doing that? So that one Thursday we can look at each other and go, well, this year's done.
It'll probably be like next Thursday.
We are going to be lazy on Thursdays for the rest of the year because we used to record, but guess what we just did? We have no more content requirements for the rest of the year. So we can either fill this time with other things, or we just don't. And we bought ourselves 4 hours a week to do nothing. Think about
Oh my God, that is a motivating factor for me.
Yes.
What do I need to do now so I can be lazy forever?
Lazy Forever is now the name. That what do I have to do now to be lazy forever is the name of this episode now.
There we go.
But yeah, I think
that's perfect. That is perfect too.
Rather than beat yourself up.
Go ahead.
Rather than beat yourself up, I think it's about turning it into your main motivation is all.
Yeah. Everything is about reframing. See, I got to throw technical terms in there. But it's about reframing, because you can look at something one way and it gets you down and you're sabotaging yourself and talking to yourself negative, or you can flip it around and say, okay, what positive things come out of this?
Yeah. Absolutely. And just think about the span of this conversation. When I started,
my whole brand, my whole the veteran woman brand because I was too lazy to get up and deal with people. So I learned how to do digital marketing. Wow.
Yeah.
I am lazy.
But think about this whole conversation, right? You started when I called you lazy, you were like, wait, what? We're going here today? And now at the end of the conversation, you're ready to get on top of a building and wave a flag going, I'm lazy!
Right?
It's not
and I'm going to find out how to do things so I can be lazier.
If you use lazy properly, it can be the greatest thing ever. But it can also be the biggest obstacle. And like I said, if people were less lazy, they could all be living the lives of their dreams. But for the most part, it's only a select few who are actually unlazy long enough to do things. So,
but that's our whole driving our economy.
Yep.
Creating things, like you said, with convenience, creating things so it's all in one place, or it flows easier, or we don't have to go here and there to do it or exert extra energy to do it.
Podcast Bay has a producer because I didn't want to produce anymore. Podcast Bay has a writer because I didn't want to write anymore. Podcast Bay has a systems girl, because a tech angel, because I don't want to learn tech. And
I learned it because I'm too lazy to try to do stuff all the time, and I just want people to click a button and it automatically happens. So that's how I learned all that stuff.
Yeah, so like people are benefiting in a ripple effect from our laziness because we're doing things to benefit other people and their laziness. We're all just trying to cure lazy in a way we enjoy. That's what it comes down to.
Cure lazy in a lazy way. To create more laziness.
Yeah, so this is starting to sound like a Dr. Seuss book. And I think the biggest thing that I wanted to say is that we're all lazy. Let's not lie to ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's just find the best way for us to get over it.
There you go.
And if you enjoyed this episode, if you want some tips, some ideas, some things to combat or work with laziness, you can definitely check out the TrepTECH Academy. We are giving just pretty much everything we know about everything entrepreneurial, all the struggles, the hardships, what's holding you back, what's keeping you grounded, why aren't you making the money or getting the visibility you want. So if that's something that you're interested in, if laziness is a topic that you want to expand on, we cover it more in depth there, and you can check it out at TrepTECHacademy.com.
The good thing is that everything about entrepreneurship is in that one spot, so you don't have to go try to find it in 90 different places.
Because we're appealing to your laziness. So
right.
If you love what we do, love what we're talking about, and love yourself enough to be lazy, go check that out. It's your one-stop shop. Until next time, this has been the TrepTECH Podcast. Thank you so much, Airial, for giving us the platform to do this.
Love y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to the TrepTECH Podcast. But if you like what you heard, go on to Apple Podcast and bring her a 5-star review. And also, if you want to check out her service while she transforms mindsets, navigating entrepreneurship, leveraging technology, building relationships while bridging the gap in your business, check out TrepTECHacademy.com. That's TrepTECHacademy.com.